Python not equal operation versus is not. In a comment on this question, I saw a statement that recommended using versus. I was wondering what the difference is, and why one might be recommended over the other.
Equals equals is an equality test. It checks whether the right-hand side and the left-hand side are equal objects, according to their _EQ_ or _CMP_ methods. Is an identity test. It checks whether the right-hand side and the left-hand side are the very same object. No method calls are done. Objects can't influence the is operation. You use is and is not for singletons, like none, where you don't care about objects that might want to pretend to be none, or where you want to protect against objects breaking when being compared against none.
First, let me go over a few terms. If you just want your question answered, scroll down to answering your question. Definitions. Object identity. When you create an object, you can assign it to a variable. You can then also assign it to another variable, and another. In this case, cancel, close, and dismiss all refer to the same object in memory. You only created one button object, and all three variables refer to this one object. We say that cancel, close, and dismiss all refer to identical objects, that is, they refer to one single object. Object equality. When you compare two objects, you usually don't care that it refers to the exact same object in memory. With object equality, you can define your own rules for how two objects compare. When you write if a equals b column, you are essentially saying if a dot underscore eq underscore b column. This lets you define an underscore eq underscore method on A so that you can use your own comparison logic. Rationale for equality comparisons. Rationale. Two objects have the exact same data, but are not identical. They are not the same object in memory. Example, strings. Note, I use Unicode strings here because Python is smart enough to reuse regular strings without creating new ones in memory. Here, I have two Unicode strings, A and B. They have the exact same content, but they are not the same object in memory. However, when we compare them, we want them to compare equal. What's happening here is that the Unicode object has implemented the underscore eq underscore method. Note, underscore eq underscore on Unicode is definitely implemented more efficiently than this. Rationale. Two objects have different data, but are considered the same object if some key data is the same. Example, most types of model data. Here, I have two Dell monitors, A and B. They have the same make and model. However, they neither have the same data nor are the same object in memory. However, when we compare them, we want them to compare equal. What's happening here is that the monitor object implemented the underscore eq underscore method. Answering your question. When comparing to none, always uses not. None is a singleton in Python. There is only ever one instance of it in memory. By comparing identity, this can be performed very quickly. Python checks whether the object you're referring to has the same memory address as the global none object, a very, very fast comparison of two numbers. By comparing equality, Python has to look up whether your object has an underscore eq underscore method. If it does not, it examines each superclass looking for an underscore eq underscore method. If it finds one, Python calls it. This is especially bad if the _eq_ method is slow and doesn't immediately return when it notices that the other object is none. Did you not implement _eq_? Then Python will probably find the _eq_ method on object and use that instead, which just checks for object identity anyway. When comparing most other things in Python, you will be using not equal.
Consider the following.
None is a singleton, and therefore identity comparison will always work, whereas an object can fake the equality comparison via ._eq_.